Okay, I'm back. I'm back. So, I know this is a new video, so you're like, where are you back from? I started a video and I got a phone call, so I got off of the video. But wanted to do this video. I'm being led to speak on these things. So, there is a transformation that's happening. We're all aware of it. Things are changing, and how you take it is how you're going to make it happen for you. It can be very easy, it can be very smooth, or it could be hectic and chaotic. Really, the power is within you to decide how you experience this transformation. However, this transformation is beneficial for us all, for all of us on the freaking planet. So know that this transformation is beneficial. Know that you have the power to direct how you want this transition, how your experience is going to be with this transition. So I know my experience with this transition has been very mild, has been very smooth. Um, there's been challenges for sure. There's been challenges, but because of the work that I do personally, for myself, the challenges are different. I can get through the challenges more easy, more efficiently, and I'm on to the next thing and the next level. And I guess this is the next thing and the next level. Me actually sharing about this, about my spirituality and my spiritual walk. So this is what I know. This is what I know. Everything is connected and everything is energy. I did not come up with that. These are facts. These are universal facts and laws. Now, the reason why certain energy you can see and certain energy you can't see, like the wind, is because there's different densities. So the atoms that make up, the energy of different objects, they have different density. So certain density can be seen and certain density cannot be seen. Nonetheless, it is what it is. So we have three parts to ourselves. We have our mind, we have our body, and we have our spirits. Every human being has these three things that are a part of them. Now, the body is temporary, and the mind is temporary too. Spirit is eternal, though. Your spirit is never going to die. Now, it will transform and it will change because it's supposed to. It's supposed to grow, it's supposed to expand. That is a part of why it is what it is and we are who we are. And many of the different religions do their best on an infant level. I want to say infant level, to explain these things. However, there have been people who come from a place and space of fear that have tried to, not even tried to, they have actually successfully been able to manipulate people and have people mind going in a different direction. Now, one particular preacher that I want to say I found them, but I didn't look for him. I just been on this journey and he has crossed over, but he came into my energy field as far as my awareness of him, because again, I believe he passed before I even entered into this form. And his name is Reverend Ike. Now, Reverend Ike, he preached the power of the mind, and he was preaching to so many brown people, just the power of the mind, and let them know where God is, because a lot of people feel like God is not within them, and but yet they say Christ within me. So, you're being a hypocrite if you say God is up in the sky, but then you say, well, Christ in me. Because Christ in me is basically saying God in me. That's what you're saying. You're saying that Christ means enlightenment, to know. So if you know and you have Christ within you, then you are acknowledging that you have God within you. So acknowledge that all times. Don't acknowledge that sometimes. Don't acknowledge that when there's a challenge and you have to get through that challenge. Acknowledge that God is within you when things are good. Acknowledge that God is within you when things are great and wonderful and fine and smooth. Always acknowledge that, because when you acknowledge that, then you are activating that force within you. And that force is not just within you, it's in every living thing. It's in this tree behind me. It's in that grass right there. I feel dew literally dropping on me right now. Like, I wish I could show you it. And that is just, to me, what that means to me when the dew is dropping is like, that's confirmation that everything is just the way it's supposed to be. I didn't know that before, but I've had moments where things were very challenging and I wasn't aware. I've went through different schools of thought. I started out as going through the school of thought of Jehovah's Witnesses. Very good first school of thought on an elementary level. Why? Because it made me practice not following what everybody else was doing. And they have a lot of good hidden messages within their organization as far as paradise. That was a good seed to implant, into an individual's mind, to conceive like, wow, animals and people getting along with each other, peace, wow, that's a good thing to have implanted into your psyche. So again, that's a good first school of thought that I experienced. Then I was curious and I wanted to know what was all of Christianity about, and they frowned upon that. They was like, don't go to no churches, and I was just like, man, you said God gave me free will, so if I got free will, I'm willing to go into the church. And then I went into the church and I stayed there for a bit, and to be honest with you, I go back and forth and visit sometimes because I love the music is phenomenal, and most of them, and it just feels good, so why not? It's not harming no one. But do they have their dogmatic practices as well? Of course. They frown and they judge people who are witchy. I like to use the word witchy. I don't like the word witches per se. Although if you look up the etymology of the word witch, it just means to use your wits. Your wits is your smarts. It means you're thinking, you're not just going by what people are saying. You're out here, you are, in contact and in communion with the God within you, and you're plugging into that source consciously, and, this is how you're living your life. But I like witchy, because to me, witches also, again, is something that is like gender, related. So they like to say, women are witches, and I guess men, they like to say that they are, I can't even think of the name right now, the sorcerers, and I mean, both are actually universal. A woman could be a sorcerer, a man could be a witch, but I like witchy because it means like, it's the act of using your wits. To me, it's not a title. It's not like, oh, you always, because to be honest with you, I don't feel everybody use their wits all of the time. I feel like, there's an ebb and flow. Sometimes you on point, sometimes, you slipping. It's just a part of life, how energy goes. It takes practice to always be on your wits, So, but with your witchy, that means you just use your wits, you're using them, Hopefully that makes sense. So, anyway, I want to encourage people to use their minds, and because your mind is your most powerful weapon, it's along your heart too, but your mind is so powerful. Where you direct your mind, where you direct your energy, your thoughts is what you will attract into your life, and people don't recognize that they have this power. And when the life sucks, nobody wants to admit that, hey, I made this sucky shit happen. Nobody wants to admit that shit. But it's a fact, it's a fact. And it is what it is. And it's okay, because if you admit to making shit suck in your life, if you take responsibility for that, especially as an adult, is you are completely responsible for whatever is happening in your life. No matter what's happened in the past, you are responsible, because it's your choices, your thoughts that's creating your now. And and you can change those thoughts. You can change those thoughts. You can change those choices. If you change those thoughts and you change those choices, I guarantee you will change the results. Will it happen overnight? Who knows? Can it happen overnight? Yes, it can. But you have to think that. If you've been conditioned a certain way, it's going to take a little bit of time to change that conditioning. But with practice, it changes, and things get better. So I just want to encourage people. You see this? I'm outside. This is all natural. But see, as I change that, if I change the angle, it looks different. But it's just the angle. So same thing comes with whatever you're dealing with. Say you have a challenge, right? Say you're dealing with a challenging loved one. I can speak on that because I have a challenging loved one that I deal with on a day-to-day basis, and it's my son. And so if I look at the situation from one point of view, I will perceive it to be a hardship. If I look at it from an elevated point of view, and I say elevation, think of it like this. Say you are in a skyriser, right? You're in a skyriser building that goes up to 120 floors, right? Now, if you look out the window of that skyriser on the bottom level, you'll see what's in front of you. You may see some cars on the street, might see some people on the street, whatever. Now, if you ride that elevator all the way up, you can see much more, right? You can see much more of a bigger picture. So when I say elevated level, that's what I mean. I see more of a bigger picture. I'm not looking at just what's immediately in front of me. I'm not looking at the immediate challenge. I'm looking at the bigger picture. So now that I'm looking at the bigger picture, okay, I can say, hey, this is not what it seems to be. There's something much more to this. So let me focus on the big picture here. And by shifting your perception to that, shifting the angle, like I'm shifting the angle of my phone right now, shifting the angle of how you look at things will shift those things in your life. Try it. Try it with something small and continue to practice it with small things and move on to bigger things, and make it a point in your life to really be mindful. So um I want to refer different people who have helped me along my journey. Rev Ike is one of them. Listen to him. Look him up on YouTube as soon as you finish this video and listen to what he has to say. I think that he is a better, he's an easy transition. I mean, it was easy for me to get what he was talking about because of my other practices. But I feel like he breaks it down in the language of the church, because, Christianity and the churches, they have their own language and lingo. And he breaks it down in a way that you can get what he's saying and be like, oh, that's what that is. Oh. So look up Reverend Ike. Another person I listen to is Abraham Hicks. Now, Abraham Hicks is actually Esther Hicks, and she channels an energy that allows her to explain how we can utilize this power of our mind. Basically, that's what she's doing. She's telling us about our thoughts and about vibrations and how we can basically think of whatever we want to create into our life, and how to be plugged into that consciousness so that once we put out there what we want, we're able to allow it to come in. Because a lot of times we put out these things we want. We want to have this certain career. We want to have this certain type of relationship. We want to have this certain lifestyle. But then we block it from coming because of how we think and how we perceive things. So Abraham Hicks breaks down how you can basically allow the things that you want to come into your life more efficiently. She breaks them down into steps. It helps. Go and listen to her after you listen to this. And one other person, there's quite a few, but if you're really into intellectual things, I have to recommend Dr. Joe Dispenza. Why? Dr. Joe Dispenza, he had a horrible accident where they wanted to do some major surgery, and he could have been paralyzed basically for the rest of his life. And instead of him doing this major surgery, he decided to explore different things. And as he explored different things, metaphysical things, which means outside of the physical, he also got into the science of the mind. Now, the science of the mind is universal, but when you hear it from different people's perceptions, it, seems to be different. So look up Dr. Joe Dispenza too. Let me know, like and comment how you like this video. Thank you.